When solving for linear inequalities, there is an extremely important rule we must follow, and that is, when we multiply and or divide by negative numbers, we have to switch the direction of the inequality sign. Let's put this into perspective with a couple of problems. Here we have a couple of inequalities. 4x is greater or equal than 36, and minus 4x is greater or equal than 36. Let's take a look at the left equation first. This is 4x greater or equal than 36. We can see that the x is being multiplied times a 4. So we have to do the inverse operation of a multiplying 4, which is dividing by 4. So we divide by 4. That way the 4's cancel. But the golden rule, if we do it on one side, we have to do it on the other. 36 divided by 4 equals 9. And that's it. This is the answer for this inequality. We don't have to do anything else. Now let's take a look at the right equation. Negative 4x is greater or equal than 36. One more time, that x is being multiplied times a negative 4. And I mean, the opposite of multiplication is always division. So if we multiply by a negative 4, we know that we have to divide by a negative 4. But it has to be negative 4 because that's the only way we can cancel them. But if we divided the left side by negative 4, we have to divide the right side by negative 4. And 36 divided by negative 4, positive divided by a negative, we get a negative. So the answer is negative 9. But the problem is not over here, because we just divided by negative 4. And by dividing by negative 4, we changed the sign. We started with a positive 36 and we ended with a negative 9. So this is the rule we must remember. Every time we multiply or divide by a negative, the direction of the inequality sign must be changed. So because we divided by a negative 4 the right inequality, we need to take this inequality sign, which says x is greater or equal, and replace it for a lesser or equal. So now this is our answer on the right side. X is lesser or equal than negative 9. So the left answer stayed the same, x is greater or equal than 9. But the right answer, x is lesser. We had to switch the sign because on the right answer we divided by a negative number. But let's review it one more time now with the division. We have x over 3 is lesser than 7 on the left side, than negative 7. And let's solve it. The x is being divided by a 3. The inverse operation is a multiplying 3. That way we can cancel, but we have to multiply both sides of the inequality. So negative 7 times positive 3, this is negative 27. And now we may feel tempted to switch the direction of the inequality sign because our answer is negative, but that's not the rule. The rule does not pay attention to the final answer. The rule pays attention to the intermediate step. Did we divide by a negative number or multiply by a negative number? No. We multiplied by a positive 3. We multiplied times positive 3. So we do not switch the inequality sign. So this stays as x is smaller than negative 21. Now let's take a look at the right equation. X is being divided by negative 3. So we need to do the inverse operation of a negative 3, dividing. And one more time, the opposite of division is multiplication. Even though we have a negative, well, it's still multiplication. We just have to multiply by negative 3. That way we can cancel both of the 3's. But if we multiply the right side, the left side, we have to multiply the right side by negative 3 as well. Negative 7 times negative 3, rules of signs, negative times a negative turns into positive. So x is lesser than 21. But even though our answer is positive, we have to look at this. We're multiplying by a negative 3. So by the rule, we have to switch the inequality sign. So one more time, the rule does not pay attention to what sign the final answer has. The rule pays attention to the intermediate step. We multiplied times negative 3, so we must change the direction of the inequality sign. So if we started with x is lesser than 21, we must end with x is greater than 21. And these are our two answers. On the left side, we didn't change the direction because we multiplied times positive 3. On the right side, we did change the direction because we multiply times a negative 3. Let's put this into practice with a more complex problem. We know that this is a two-step linear inequality, so we have to start with the addition subtraction. That means we have to start with a positive 7, and the inverse operation of a positive 7 is a negative 7, so we can cancel. And let's just remember, we're going to keep showing these reminders every time that we can. If we subtracted by negative 7 the left side, we have to subtract by negative 7 the right side. 47 minus 7 is 40. Now, you may feel tempted one more time to change the direction of the inequality sign because we're subtracting by a negative 7 because of the negative 7. But remember, the rule is only when there is multiplication and division. This is a simple subtraction. For subtractions, we do not switch the inequality sign. For subtractions, we do not. We only do it when we multiply or divide by negative numbers. And now we do the multiplication division, meaning we have a multiplication times negative 5. The inverse operation is dividing by a negative 5. The negative 5's cancel, but we also have to divide the right side. And 40 divided by negative 5 is equal to negative 8. This time we're dividing by a negative. This time we're dividing by negative 5. So since we are dividing by a negative 5, we have to change the direction of the inequality sign. In the first step, we did not because it was just a subtraction. But in this second step, we do have to change the direction because we're dividing by negative 5. So if we started with x as being greater than negative 8, we have to switch it for x is smaller than negative 8. And now, well, this is our solution. We can represent it with a number line. All the numbers from negative infinity to positive infinity. X is on the close sign of the sign. So x is smaller than negative 8. So all the solutions to the left of negative 8. Some possible answers, we can see them. Negative 9, negative 17, negative 432, negative 124.25, negative 8.001. Any number is smaller than negative 8. And what about negative 8? We do not have the equal sign. It's just x is smaller than negative 8. So negative 8 is not part of our solution. We do not include it. So our solution is x is smaller than negative 8. And the important step on this problem was in the final part, when we divided by negative 5, we switched the direction of our inequality.